We wrap up our bulletin in Europe, where Scotland will go to the polls tomorrow to decide on its future. Now, voters are torn between competing visions. One arguing that the nation is stronger as part of the United Kingdom, while the other claims that Scotland has the means to go it alone.
Until recently, it seemed unthinkable that Scotland, an integral part of the United Kingdom, a country fused with England for more than 3 centuries, could break away and go it alone. But as campaigners make their last attempts to convince the undecided ahead of Thursday's referendum, polls suggest it's a very real possibility.
Confidence is not based on any opinion poll, on any particular aspect, on any endorsement, on any expert. It's based on what we're finding in the communities around Scotland. That's what our confidence is based on, and it's on that we know the momentum is with us.
Scottish residents aged 16 and over, some 4.2 million people, will have the right to vote. Opinion polls had long given the No campaign a decisive lead, but by earlier this month, the race had significantly tightened.
I think the entire British political establishment, including sections of the British media, certainly as based in England, particularly in London, has just coasted along assuming that no would win. And that's why the sudden spurt in the yes vote is so shocking to them. They hadn't really imagined this would ever happen.
The Yes campaign says Scotland, with its reserves of North Sea oil and tourism, as well as whisky industries, can prosper on its own. The North, meanwhile, are still ahead in most polls and say a yes vote would put living standards at risk, with the threat of higher taxes and the possibility of having to adopt a new currency.
Remember, it was economic opportunities that brought our nations together in 1707, the greatest merger in history. 3 centuries on, our union and our prosperity are still closely bound.
If Scots do vote yes, the full implications almost literally incalculable. Months of intense negotiations would begin over how and where to relocate Britain's nuclear submarine base, how to disentangle 300 years of shared institutions, and the status of relations with the EU, NATO and the world. But even if Thursday's vote does see Scotland remain as part of the UK, what's not an option is continuing with the status quo.
To a sort of federalisation of the UK, where each region gains quite substantial fiscal autonomy. Of course, if Scotland votes yes, that takes Scotland somewhat out of the equation, but that still would leave the question of what happens politically to the rest of the UK.
As results are tallied on Thursday evening, millions of Britons at home and abroad will be holding their breaths, waiting to see if they wake up to a changed country and a step into the unknown.
That wraps up all we had lined up for you on Ebru African News this afternoon. Make a date with Michelle Morgan later on this evening for our primetime bulletin and a more comprehensive outlook as to what's happening in our worlds today. Many thanks for your absolutely scintillating company. Not forgetting a special thank you to our new viewers in Nairobi and beyond. Here at Ebru Africa TV, we absolutely appreciate your valued company. I'm Kamina Goro, and until next time, do have yourself one lovely, blessed afternoon.